Welcome back to Agenda Kenya with me, Jason Nyantino. Tonight we are focusing on the perennial problem of unemployment. Do our political leaders have what it takes to confront this problem once and for all? KJ, you wanted to respond to Honorable Nderitu's proposition.
Yes, because when we make an allegation, we've got to support it with facts. My good professor here will tell you that any logic is premised on good legs. And I'd like to say that there is a point that we should not lose. What Mr. Chune has said, that the concern of the NARC government was primarily to grow the economy. And this economy was to be grown regardless of the plight of the people. That's why we were registering such high economic growth in the first term of the NARC government, but the people were still living in basically in squalor, because the policies that were made were, to my mind, very elitist. That a small group of people grow with wealth and amass so much wealth, while the rest of the country is languishing in poverty. Now, what happens is eventually you end up with a very vibrant economy that does not create opportunities, and regardless of whether you have earned that opportunity by merit or not, to anyone else. So it was a closed group of individuals growing wealth among themselves, growing a very small wealthy class, and disregarding the middle class and the bottom of the pyramid. And that's why we ended where we are. However, Honorable Nderitu is making an offer here for me to join UDF, a party which is like, I think, 3 weeks old or 4 weeks old, of whose policies I don't know. And I've got to say that why I'm standing with ODM is the fact that I'm living the dream that grows the economy for the people at the bottom of the pyramid. The party that carries the legend of the Mau Maus who say Maisha Bora, your JM Kariukis who say Maisha Bora, Oginga Odinga who said not yet Uhuru. That is what we are fighting for. And that
let me ask you,
yes.
Let me ask him one question.
Let us go with the facts. Yes. Because the fact of the matter...
Let me ask him a question, please.
Okay.
In 2007, the same ODM that you are talking about promised Kenyans 300,000 new jobs for youth in 2008. Were those jobs created?
That's actually reflected in our manifesto. And you realize that what happened immediately after that, we went into an election. And we know what came out of that election. And it's a place we wouldn't want to take Kenya back to. So we do not have a fully ODM government. Because when you write a manifesto, you're a party willing to take over the reins of government so that you're able to offer that much. Remember that even when the sharing of government was done, there was a lot of hue and cry from the ODM side that there is very little that we're able to do with what we have. So yes, we did promise what we needed to do.
And you did
we could have created that much if we were truly
okay.
The
did you open the? You also promised. Your party promised.
Let me finish with KJ. We want the audience and the viewers.
Let me finish with
But what
KJ
has the
first.
party done?
Yeah. Your party also promised to open job seeker offices around the country. Were those offices open?
Well, there are no job seekers offices opened, at least not pioneered by my party. Mm-hmm. But I'll say what my party has done towards achieving what it is that we asked to do. I've got to say that the majority involvement or the popular involvement is going to contribute a very big chunk in building the economy and also building opportunities for everyone. Okay. Now, if you're going to talk about Kenya as a population, we know that we are a very young country. So the sooner we start involving the younger generation in tackling the problems of this country, the sooner we start solving them.
The generation is here?
Yes.
So let's hear them. The generation is here. Let's hear their contributions.
Jason, honestly, I think it is only fair. It is only fair to let us set the record straight.
I'm going to give you time.
Because
I'm going to give you time.
A lie told 100 times, unchallenged becomes a truth. Listen,
which lie is this?
This economy is creating 550,000 jobs annually. Right now, are they enough? Of course, they're not enough. But we are creating 550,000 jobs per year.
Right now.
Right now. Mm-hmm. The formal sector, listen to me, the formal sector is creating, the formal sector is creating 75,000 jobs. Just hear me. The informal sector is creating 420,000 jobs per year. The challenge I already alluded to by laying out the facts at the beginning of the show. We are starting with a pool of 12 million unemployed Kenyans. That's where we are starting. Every year, and I agree with KJ on that particular score, Every year, more than 500,000 young people are removed from the education system by this colonial examination called KCPE, and they go into the pool of the unemployed. If you add those who are also leaving secondary schools, you will find the pool is growing at 700, 800,000 young Kenyans per year. So the jobs that we are creating are obviously not enough. What would be useful is for political leaders to put on the table credible ideas and solutions.
Okay, you've made your point.
Blame and so on.
Mheshimiwa, you've made your point.
Is where we are.
You will respond. You will respond. The show is not over. So let's get to listen to the audience. The lady front, your name, comment or question, please.
Okay, my name's Rosemary Ahenda. I come from Siaya County, but for now I'm in Nairobi. My question goes to Honorable. You are saying there's jobs which are being given out from the government. Where are those jobs? Because tonight here, I'm very sure most of us here are youth and they are unemployed. We don't have jobs. So I wonder if you're saying there are jobs which are being given out by the government, 400 and what. Can you clarify?
Okay, I'll take 2 or 3, then we respond together. The gentleman here in...
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Abalotieno from the National Theatre of Kenya and from 2013 Battalion Raila for President. There is one issue here that really makes me feel some shivers because Kenyans like beating about the bush. Mheshimiwa Nderitu, you're asking KJ to cross to UDF, but there is one thing. There is a document that makes Kenya, Kenya. This is the new constitution that we know that through this new constitution, these jobs that we are asking are gonna be given. Because now that we are lacking jobs, a lot of people have come and they are here in the cities doing very little for this country. But when we do as the constitution dictates us to do, we know most of us will have a chance even to go and work in our rural areas, thereby developing our country. I do not really...
Okay, Otieno, I think you've made your point.
Not Otieno, Balotieno. Balotieno believes in scoring for Kenya a goal.
Okay.
Balotieno.
Thank you very much, sir. We go to this side now. The lady at the back.
And that's a speaker from the Party of Devolution.
My name is...
Created by devolution.
Okay, Jay, you talk when I give you time to talk.
Okay, my name is Tracy Njoroge, and I want to ask a question. When you talk about employment, we don't want to go to government offices. We don't want to be employed in maybe private sector, in maybe car industry or what. We want you guys to come up with policies which will involve the youth to make opening up businesses or accessing capital to open up business easier. And if you're going to do agriculture, we want you guys, the politicians and the government, to come up with policies that will make sure when we produce our products, we directly export them, such that we are not harassed by middlemen or foreign exporters who come in and get a lot of money than us farmers. That is what we want, not formal employment.
Thank you. I'll take my last one. The gentleman in a tie.
Thank you. What I gather from the time we sit in here is that...
Your name, please?
I'm Nyanzwa CA, Communications Coordinator, High Rise Rovers Sports Club, Pumwani. It's like we're putting our cart before the horse. I don't know how they shall move. Right from primary up to university, the highest learning institution. What I'm getting is that we dropping out the youth along the line, and then we are saying there are no jobs. So is our education system in line with the requirements and demands of the job market in Kenya?
Thank you. I will start with you, Dr. Mwira. You can take that up immediately, then one or two others, then we'll start the debate.
Yes, I'll tie it to the point that was raised by Derito about the kind of education system that we have, and about also Kiari also raised the same point. And I want to say this. Yes, it's indeed the case that we have a lot of young people graduating at KCPE and getting out there, and others from secondary schools with theoretical education. But as much as we blame education, let's also not forget training in itself does not create employment. You can train all sorts of people, but unless you've done whatever it takes to have an enabling environment and an economy that can absorb them, it doesn't matter, what kind of training. Even if you train carpenters and masons in rural areas, and there are no people building houses, or there's no demand for furniture, it will not help. So we must invest in sectors that will support that education. Secondly, in terms of the education system in this country, I must say that there are changes. As coming from the Ministry of Higher Education, Science and Technology myself, we are now saying we have to have a technical training institute in every county. And now it's only 2 or 3 counties where we don't have. But that training will be modeled to the type of needs that are emerging in this country, so that you are trained in an area where agriculture is strongest, where we have certain industries and so on, where young people would then fit into those kinds of industries. So that training through those kinds of institutions will help. There are village polytechnics, now there are youth polytechnics. Youth polytechnics, many constituencies have more than 5-10 of them. And again, is to empower young people with skills, not only for employment, but that they can use for the kind of self-employment you are talking about, so that you're on your own. But all that would not get us anywhere again unless we have opportunities and unless you have resources, even money to support that business, unless we help you to find markets, unless we support you to add value, and so on and so on and so on. So it is not just a matter of, say, training and employment. I want us to appreciate the complexity of the problem and to see how we can get it, all sectors of the economy, Ministry of Education and others, to try to create an environment that will resolve the problem.
Let me hear from Chuna before Mheshimiwa and the rest respond, especially about Mheshimiwa's proposition that jobs are being created. Are you seeing them yourself?
Yeah, I think when you talk about jobs, you should first of all understand the meaning of jobs. What is a job? And as far as we are concerned, many of the jobs that are being created are creating just groups of young people who you would call the working poor, because what they earn does not satisfy their needs. They don't satisfy their needs. A lot of these people, jobs you hear about, these people are earning below 10,000 shillings. What do you do with 10,000 as a family? So we don't talk about numbers only, but the quality of the job. How decent is the job?
Yes. It's important to note that the point that has been made by Ms. Njoroge is a very valid point, that individuals need to be able to be facilitated to start up businesses and be innovative in how they conduct businesses. Because I believe in this day and age, if you're a very innovative trader, or you're an innovative producer, there are ways of bypassing middlemen, even using technology. However, there is a part that the society or the population needs to play. But I still believe that government has a very key role to play in facilitating for opening up opportunities for individuals. And how they do that is by making it possible for as many people to be producers. What is happening right now with the regimes that we have is the fact that the few who can produce are actually taxed so heavily to a point that they cannot even be of benefit to themselves, leave alone their families and their extended families. It has even gotten to a place where we are being told that there is going to be a massive movement of some of the most, some of the people who we are most proud of as a nation. The athletes in Kenya today are threatening to change nationality because of the taxing regime that is going to be imposed on them. They realize that if they start winning races, if the KRA starts taxing them for winning the races, they're better off moving on to Bahrain or elsewhere. And that's what's happening with many professionals. They're either cutting corners with their taxation or deciding to not pay it altogether.
Thank you, KJ. Let me go to Honorable Nderitu. There were 2 questions for you. 1, you need to tell us where the jobs you talked about are. 2, there was a question from Madam Njoroge about creating policies, especially the agricultural sector. Are there policies to create those jobs you're talking about? Quickly, please.
Yeah, thank you. But let me start. Is the education system fit for purpose? Is it fit for it isn't. Yeah? It isn't. The education system that exits 500,000 kids at 14 and 15 years old at class 8 cannot be a sensible education system. Personally, I am on record. I want us to remove KCPE. I want every child to get to Form 4. And I think secondary school education should be free. And we must get every child to Form 4.
Please respond to these two questions.
Where are the jobs? Are the jobs with government? Rosemary, the purpose of government will never be the one employing. The purpose of government is to create an environment where your business, your neighbor's business, my business, and any other business expands and grows, and it is the jobs are created by those companies or those enterprises expanding and growing.
Okay.
That is why, for example, I am on record saying we should put money to small business. If we are serious as a country, unless we can support small business, because you see, the population of small business is large. 5 million informal sector businesses by some counts. If you help these businesses just grow by one job, you have created 5 million jobs.
Thank you.
If we are serious, let's put money.
No, I need to take a break.
Why should those businesses pay taxes if the member of parliament is not paying taxes?
I'll come to you. Time for a break now, and if you're watching us, it is the right time to participate in this lively discussion by answering this question. Do you think our political leaders have the capacity to fight unemployment? Do you think our political leaders have the capacity to fight unemployment? Text your answer to the number on your screen. Give us your name and where you're watching us from. We will be right back.